Listening to 88.3 Southern FM, the sounds of Bayside, and this is Right Now with me, Gaetana, and on the line I have Mary Delmo of Reader's Feast. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Gaetana, and a very belated Happy New Year to you and your
Yes,
listeners.
thank you, and to you. Now, you've got another interesting endeavour happening, an initiative, the Reader's Feast Marketplace. Tell us about this, please.
Yes, Stuart and Fiona Kells and I met in late November, and we were talking about the fact that they, as antiquarian booksellers, have access to books that we as new or trade booksellers never see. And out of that very simple idea came the marketplace. So we now have a range from their collection, which is called Books of Kells, as well as other books from the Littlewood Press and the Lane Press. And the whole concept is that we're using our, as I say these days, bricks and mortar bookshop to really celebrate books from across many different areas. And so it's been wonderful, Gaetana. So we'll have first editions, we'll have rare editions, we'll have books that we loved as children and haven't seen in a lifetime.
Yeah.
And just lovely editions, you know, those jackets from the 50s and the 40s.
Yes.
And with the Littlewood Press, Robert Littlewood has been a publisher of fine books, but also of graphic print. So it's expanding what we're doing in the bookstore too. And then the Lane Press is run by the Lane women, who are the descendants of the Lane brothers who founded Penguin Books. So they've written some books on their father or grandfather's diaries. And Stuart Kells actually wrote a book called Penguin and the Lane Brothers, which was the history of that publishing company. So it's lovely to have these connections and to be bringing them to the general reading public.
Oh, absolutely. Now, those Kells books, Littlewood Press, Lane Press, were they basically online or elsewhere or what before this?
Yes, exactly. So Stuart and Fiona, for example, will attend book fairs and had some presence online, but really understood that it's the wonder of discovery that you get in a physical bookshop that even the internet doesn't really replace. You know, you can be searching through, but it's not the same as just browsing in a bookstore, looking at a book on a shelf and thinking to yourself, that's exactly the book I want. Or I didn't even know I wanted that book.
Absolutely. Yes. That's what I thought would be the case, you know, Mary. It's all very well, and it's quite convenient for people to be able to browse online and see and order things, but I do think that there is nothing like actually being in a bookstore, picking up books, looking through, browsing. It's just a whole other experience, and I know anybody who's interested in any antiquarian books, they need to go there and handle them and look at them and touch them, don't they?
Absolutely. And the other thing it is too, Gaetana, is that we're all part of this community who are book lovers.
Yes.
And so being in the store with us, we're having these wonderful conversations with people who are remembering when they first read Nora of Billabong, or a woman the other day came in and we had beautiful editions of some of Graham Greene's work, and she was just delighted and picked them up straight away. And the wonderful thing with the Books of Kells selection is that they are such high quality. You know, I'm not one for tattered covers.
No,
I'm one for a book that has been loved and looked after. And so Fiona in particular goes to a lot of trouble to make sure that the books they're presenting are really beautiful and are obviously cared for. Again, Yvonne, who's one of our long-time customers, comes in every Monday without fail. She was delighted and commented on the fact that it looks like it's a collection that's respected by those who are curating it. And she had a similar experience in London with one of her favourite bookstores. And, of course, she said this is the beauty of it. You can buy something that you won't see anywhere else, but you've also got the new books. And so every Monday she's now picking up something from the Books of Kells range and something from our range.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? How enriching. What you're offering to Melburnians is very precious, really, I think. When I read about it, I thought, this is a great idea, you know, and I can imagine people doing what that lady you've mentioned does, coming in and wanting to come in regularly because there's so many different dimensions there that they can explore. I think it's quite wonderful. And
you know, with all of the talk of online and e-books, and I'm not one who's against that. I don't believe it's an either-or world.
No,
but
I
having
agree.
said that,
Yeah.
what we are noticing particularly is the great interest still in children's picture books. And so
yes.
Stuart and Fiona have a wonderful range of children's picture books, and that's what we find the local workers around our area are really responding to, because they're getting these lovely editions of beautiful picture books from earlier times.
Yeah.
Again, books we haven't seen in our years in book selling.
Oh, how gorgeous.
And again, you know, finding those books that they may have been read to, or a lady a few weeks ago told me that her grandmother had passed on to her a book and she had lost it, and here was a copy of it. So it's just fantastic to be able to match people with books like that.
It is. Oh, look, I'm sure you're going to actually end up with such a collection of stories about some of the people who come into the shop and who are enchanted by this new marketplace. So you've got these 3 other areas for these 3 other publishers. Do people from them, do they actually serve there, or do you just look after the books? They just bring the books in and you look after things?
Well, that's a really interesting question, Gaetana, because just a couple of days ago, Stuart was commenting to me that he and Fiona would love to come in on the weekends and be available. So we think that's the next step. We may, in fact, promote the fact that they will be there, and they'll have wonderful stories of where they found the books, because they're on a journey of discovery to find these books at fairs and all sorts of places. So I think that would be a wonderful thing if they would join us. And, you know, for us, it's, as you know, we're just passionate about books. We always have been and always will be. Mm-hmm. And this is just such another wonderful way to indulge our passion too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And now, have you reached your milestone of, is it 40 years in the business?
That will be in a few months' time, Gaetana. There's a lot of hair colour going on, and, but it's really remarkable because, again, I found a book the other day amongst the range that I hadn't seen for years, and I was transported back to one of those very early years where I helped a customer with that book. And I tend to have a photographic memory of books or jackets, and then the customers with them. And so it's really terrific to have this happening in my 40th year, because it has been a tough few years. It continues to be challenging.
Yes.
But to have the support of people like Fiona and Stuart and the Lane Press and Littlewood Press is giving me a new burst of energy to understand that there's yet more to be discovered that I haven't ever touched in 40 years.
Well, I'm so pleased about all of that. And you're still going to do the Crime and Justice Festival this year?
Yes, absolutely. And we're looking to do events, put together an events calendar through the year. We really rely so much, Gaetana, on the support of people like yourself, and also from book lovers and readers across Melbourne.
Yeah.
And you know, it's very difficult, but we have managed to keep standing, and we intend to continue to do so. But we just need people's support. And so it's wonderful to have like-minded book lovers who are helping us expand what we do as a business and helping us, I think, remain relevant to our community.
Oh, look, I think it's superb. And considering, as you said in your email, this is a city of literature, and we're recognised for that. I think this is a lovely, lovely way that you're going here, because it really is another thing to encourage people into the city, into enjoying the books and the bookstore, as well as various other cultural things that are on. It's just another lovely dimension to it, and another inviting thing. And also, as you mentioned, people who work in the city coming in, that's another beautiful element, because there are more and more people too who live around in parts of the city, aren't there? So you're offering something special to them as well.
Well, that's exactly right, Gaetana. I was very surprised when we moved to the William Street end. We're just around the corner on Little Collins from William, and there is a lot of residential through there. And that's why we think we can expand it to the weekends and have Fiona and Stuart with us, because there are people who will just enjoy being in a non-retail area in the sense that you're not in the busy part of the CBD,
Yes, yes.
but you're still having access to a store like ours. The other great thing, Gaetana, that we're all enjoying too, and our customers are, is that Stuart is a great collector of vintage toys. So we have a glass
Oh.
cabinet of vintage toys, and it's been wonderful to have the book characters represented in the toys as well as in the books. And so many customers are just delighted and revelling in having the Noddy egg cup or the Baba key ring. It's been really good fun. So all of it adds to our enthusiasm for what we do, and I'm sure that translates, doesn't it?
Oh,
Customers,
yes.
readers.
And now you've just reminded me of a lovely childhood memory, and I'm not going to give away my age, but I'm probably going to date myself saying this, but, you know, I had the lovely Beatrice Potter bowls and things when I was a child, little one.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, had the
Absolutely.
Beatrice Potter stories that were first originally read to me and then that I read, and when I was a little wee person, yes, had the beautiful Beatrix Potter, I think it was a bowl and something else, a couple of other things, and I can still see them in my mind's eye, you know. And my mother hung on to them basically until she died. When she died, I, you know, came across them again clearing the house, you know. So you've just reminded me of something very precious like that saying about having the vintage toys and things and other related products is just a lovely, lovely dimension that you've added
and,
there.
You know, I've been very cautious, Gaetana, because people know us as booksellers. That's what we are, first, second and last. But I've been very cautious to introduce anything else. But this was just such a nice connection and had such synergy with what we're doing. And again, the quality of what they're bringing into us is wonderful. So we really have to thank Fiona and Stuart in particular for taking the leap with me and really planting this idea in my head, because it has been terrific for us and for our customers.
Oh, yes. And very interesting too, having, you know, that lane press and all those wonderful links back, you know, looking at, as you said, descendants of the original brothers who started Penguin. That's quite a lovely thing. It's a lovely element to have, and Littlewood as well. Have you mentioned the fine books and graphic prints, so have you got some of the graphic prints as well in there?
Yes, we have. And Robert has a lovely selection of Lionel Lindsay prints. There's a Pro Heart. And there's one of, which is terrific, there's one of the original St. James Church, which was on the site where our store is, in the St. James building. So it's lovely to have that connection too. And with the Lane press, you know, I'm a great lover of books, but also of my industry and my trade. You know, I've always felt it's a vocation. To have a direct link with the Lane people is amazing to me. And in fact, I said to Elizabeth Lane, this is like stardom to me. This is like meeting someone, you know, a celebrity. And that many, many years ago when I started in the trade, I met the granddaughters of Banjo Patterson, and that was one of the highlights of my life. So it's terrific to have these connections.
Well, how absolutely wonderful meeting the granddaughters of Banjo Patterson.
Yes.
How did you come across them?
I couldn't believe it, Gaetana. There was a limited edition 2-volume set that came out, and the publisher somehow asked these then quite elderly women would they come in and meet us. And they were so gracious. And it really was, to me, something special to meet these women and to have that direct connection. And it reminded me of how young our country is, but also what a rich literary history we have for a young country.
Yes, good point indeed. Oh, look, Mary, I think it's a wonderful initiative, and I think it is something precious for Melburnians and also people from the country and people from interstate to be able to come in and, you know, see all these different things, not only the current books, but to have the antiquarian books and other ones. It's just rather marvellous to be able to take your time, browse, hold books, look at them, and just perhaps, as you said, find something you might never thought of buying, but you see it there, you look at it, and you think, yes, that will be wonderful for me or for somebody else as a gift or whatever. I think that's really rather precious. And somehow, perhaps I'm a bit prejudiced, but somehow I feel as though it's more energizing and things to actually be in a place and be able to pick up the books and things than looking online. There are plenty of things we can look at online, but to actually go into a place and pick up books and look at them and handle them, see them, I just think that is a very good thing. And all this lovely range, so having this marketplace there is fabulous. Do you still have the other store in Abbotsford Convent?
We do, yes,
On the
indeed. We're
weekend.
there 10 to 4 on weekends, and we are taking some of the range across there each weekend. For my Sinsgate Hunter, I go every Friday night with some stock and I
Oh,
pick it
my
up
Lord.
on Sundays.
Oh,
But we make sure we have it represented over there, so it's terrific.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, look, my hat, I take my hat off to you. If I were wearing a hat, I would take it off to you. I think you're so dedicated.
Thank you, Coach Hunter.
Well, look,
Thank
you see,
you.
the thing is, I think you just, as you said, you love books, you love literature and writers, and you love to provide things for people. So I just think it's marvellous. We will talk again later in the year. Look after yourself, Mary, and thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you.
And thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Look, she is a precious and lovely lady, and I'm not doing an advertisement for Reader's Feast, but I just thought you would like to know about this new dimension that she's added to Reader's Feast, the fact that you have this marketplace with these other works from other press. It just seems to me a wonderful, wonderful endeavour.